back with another video which I'm recording in the middle of the night. Anyways, I just finished both of these books, these amazing books. One is Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods, and the other one is A Reaper at the Gates, both of which belong to like my most favorite book series ever, and this is my second most favorite book series ever. So like, yeah, I finished it around 1:30 something. I finished both the books, and with those books, like, the number of books I'll be reading this year is coming to an end. So with that, the number of books I've read for this year is like 17, which is a very good number compared to my previous year, and it's also my overall high in a year, which I'm super proud of. I know it's not like 100 or 200 or 300 like you see usually in Bookstagram or BookTube, but spare me because I don't have such time. Like, I don't know how people find time for reading so much books. I'd love to have such time, but even if I love to have such freedom, I don't know if I'll be pushing myself to finish like 100 or 200 books in a year, because then I will feel saturated. I don't know if that's going to be the same for everyone else. It's just I like to enjoy reading books. Yes, I would have that inside need to be reading so much, reading a lot. Why haven't I finished that book yet? That sort of things I do have. But that doesn't mean that I would enjoy reading so many books. I don't know. I haven't read so many books in a year before, so I don't know. So I don't know how it will feel, whether it will actually feel saturated or maybe just normal. I don't know. Creating a tier list video. I have never made such video before, but I've seen so many creators make the video, and I'm like, I need to make one for myself. And this year, successfully, I've finished all the books like I planned to, even though it's a little delayed. I could have finished it like by last weekend, and this video might have been live by now, but I kind of delayed it. I'm a procrastinating queen. What can I say? Yeah. Anyways, I'm creating a list now. First, I'll show you books I've read this year. This is the books I've read in 2023. I've read around 17 books. I'll be ranking them now. Let's see. Yeah, I have the cool images ready. And first, let's categorize the tier list, okay? We need to do that first. Oh, good. Out of the world. So this is like a general opinion, like this is just too damn good. That is like the first tier. Again, this is a personal opinion list. That, so the book I find too good or out of the world, you won't find the book in a similar emotion. You'll feel like that book was just average or something. So don't take this personally. It's just me ranking books based on my personal thoughts, I guess. So the next one is good read and loved it. This is a category which I love, where I love the book just because it was a good read. I'm loving it because of my respect for the book, not because it's just too great for me personally. I do love the writing, I do love the book, but that's the only reason I love the book. It's not the personal favorite category. I hope you get it. I don't even know if I'm making any sense. So the next one is there is something missing. Like, this is okay. The book is good, but there's actually something missing, or so I feel. And the next category is, what shall I do with the next one? Not the best. How about this? Not the best. Is like, this book has potential to be better. Like, it has a best version or maybe better version. Let's say that, yeah, this book has a better version, and the book didn't deliver the better version, and instead delivered a version which I didn't find that good. The last category is like waste of time. Yeah, because I'll explain. No book is a waste of time, in my opinion, because you either end up loving it, or you feel like it could have been better, or you feel like, why did I even read this book? So it's going to be an experience. But why am I adding it as a waste of time here? I have been pressurizing myself to start creating content for YouTube. I've been pressurizing myself to write blogs. I also have a day job. I'm also working on my first draft. So if I read a book, I want to feel good about it. I mean, there are books which I'll be like, this is not a masterpiece, but I still loved it because it was good. There's still a little girl inside me who just wanted to read books no matter how good the plot was. That is that part of me that still exists. So, I mean, if the book satisfies even that part, that's fine. I'd be happy. I mean, I don't want to read masterpieces all the time. I don't want to read personal favorite books all the time. That's not going to be the case. I know that. But if a book is like outright wasting my time, I'm gonna rank it here. I do have one such book, but still, there might be more than one book. So let's get on with it. The first book I finished this year is Red, White, and Royal Blue. So this is going to be, you know, good read and loved it because this book, it's not a masterpiece. I don't know why there's so much love. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't deserve all the love it's getting. I'm just saying I don't feel part of that crowd. Like there's so much love. I'm not that crowd. But I loved it, of course. It was a good read. It made me feel good. That's where I stand. And I really like the chemistry between the main characters. But I do have a problem with the book. That is like there was too much perfection with I forgot the character names and all. There's this chief security of the first son and the security of the prince who are apparently dating. Like this seems like too Wattpad sort of thing for me because in Wattpad when I used to write and read there was a particular set of scenarios where like if there's a gang there's going to be more than one couple, so that is the part which kind of felt like a letdown. But other than that, I loved the book. I did watch the movie and I did love the movie as well. I mean, of course, the cast is the main reason. But anyways, yeah, the second book I finished this year is like from my second favorite book series, A Torch Against the Night. It's going too good, out of the world. I love the whole Ember Quadlet series. I haven't finished the fourth book yet, but the the way the story unfolds, the way the characters are, I don't know. That's just perfection. Every single part of the book is perfection. Not just Torch Against the Night. An Ember in the Ashes is also perfection. Forgive me. There was a mosquito roaming around. Yeah. A Torch Against the Night is just perfection. 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 I loved it so much. I do have a review video. You can check it out. I'll link it in the description. Lightlark. So this one is going, there is something missing category because I wanted to read this book only because of those reels by Alex Astor and those recommendation by other book influencers, and I was like, okay, maybe this is too good. Like I am her, I'm aspiring to be a writer. I want to grow and to see someone like me to grow. I'm not saying she's like me, I'm just saying an aspiring writer to live her dreams of publishing books. That's like good, right? That is a major reason why I wanted to read this book. I kind of listened it to an audiobook, but that's not the reason why I didn't like the book. I didn't like the book because the whole promise was about the game and the challenges, but the game and the challenges were not even that challenging, and they were supposed to be deadly games and I didn't feel like it was deadly. I don't know if it's something I should be reading. Maybe it's not something that people in my age group would be reading and find it enjoying. Maybe that's the reason, or maybe that there is something that actually, that's actually missing in the book. I will appreciate the twist at the end. I did not see that coming. Maybe I am dumb, or maybe the twist was actually good. We don't know which is the truth. Next book is Good Girl Bad Blood. I'm gonna put it in good read and loved it. This book could have become my favorite. That That was the first book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is like a masterpiece. I think this book suffers from, being the sequel to a masterpiece, which A Torch Against the Night did not suffer from. So I'm like, this is good. I did love it. I did love the connections that were made, but this was not like, too good. But I won't say you shouldn't read this book or it's a letdown. It's good. It's really good. The only fault of Good Girl Bad Blood is it follows A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which was perfect. A book that made me cry a lot. A Woman is No Man. I'm not kidding. I'm not even kidding. I cried so many times. I was sleepless so many times. Like, I took a very long time period to finish this book because it was difficult and it stirred so many thoughts inside me. Like, I couldn't help myself. I couldn't. And it's going in too good and out of the world because it's the truth. It's the truth of so many women out there in different culture. The level of suffering might differ, but people are going through this. Women are going through this in some part of the world. Just because like many part of the world women are getting more rights, it doesn't mean that there is no need for feminism or there's no need to act like victims, because still there are victims who are solely affected because of their gender, especially women, because they have been oppressed for how long? For like forever. And it's a very difficult read. It has a lot of trigger warnings and it will shatter your heart, break your heart, make you feel hopeless, make you feel sleepless. But it's a masterpiece which you must read. And while mentioning this book, I do remember that the main characters are from Palestine, and the writer herself is of Palestinian descendant. I don't know what's actually going on there, but I do wish to say something. Humanity must prevail above all. No matter which beliefs you have, which country you belong to, you shouldn't be hurting people just because you can. In the name of politics, in the name of culture, in the name of religion, in the name of all kind of nonsense. It has always been a problem. It will be a problem for we don't know however long, but we are all humans first. So I think humanity comes first before every shit. Yeah. I'm not gonna get more political than this because it's not that I'm scared of it. It's just I don't want to say shit which I'm not sure of. Unlike other people, I have told myself not to speak about anything or anyone in particular, especially on internet, without actually knowing. I have no way of knowing the actual truth, but not before doing a proper research I won't be talking about anything. So if people are like, you have to point them out, you have to call them out, I'm like, I haven't done my research, so I'm not gonna point out to people saying you did this, you did that. I just know that somebody is committing shit, somebody is committing heinous crimes in the name of something they claim to be good, and I don't think that's good. If you think whatever you're holding up saying that this is good, then that shouldn't lead to committing crimes, be it patriotism, be it politics, or be it religion or culture. It shouldn't lead you to a path of crime. That is where I stand. Yeah, moving on. Do not disturb. I know where this is going. Waste of time. Absolutely waste of time. I only listened to this audiobook because it was, in my suggestion. Maybe I didn't properly listen to it. I will take half the blame, but the other half has to go to like the bland story. I felt like it was a waste of my time. My time. Yes. Don't mind my voice, it's in the middle of the night, so it might be raspy and sleepy and unpleasant. I'm sorry. I will make sure not to repeat it again. Beekeeper of Aleppo. Good read, loved it. Yes, I loved so many things in this book. I loved so many details that were added. Like, I felt so heartbroken in some part of the book. There was a particular incident that happened in past in the story that I didn't expect at all. The fact that I didn't expect it made me feel like, okay, you're being too hopeful in this cruel world. So this book made me feel so many things. But still, I'm gonna rank it as a good read and loved it because it hasn't cracked the layer of being my personal favorite. But I will suggest this book to people. I'll ask them to read it because it's a story people need to read. It's a very good written book. It's a very simple story with the heartbreaking events that followed a refugee from Syria. So you should read it. And then the one, okay, again, this one. Good read, yeah. I'm not gonna rank Agatha Christie anywhere near mid because she's a queen. She's the best. I admire her with all my heart. Like, she was my childhood. I've read so many Agatha Christie books. Um, I have always appreciated the way, almost always, I have never guessed her, the culprit in the book. Like, who done it, I've never guessed it. Also, I do wish to write like her one day. This book was good, I'll tell you that. But I had some spoilers because of the BBC television series. But I didn't guess. Again, I didn't guess who did it. I didn't guess. And she's a queen for that. I always get this problem with reading her books because she writes a book in certain time period, right? So there are words which I don't actually understand. I'm not used to it. English is not my first language, so I don't understand certain words and I'm like, what is she referring to here? Like, what place is this? What does this word mean? So I have had that difficulty, and adding it with 10 characters point of view was a little difficult for me to get started, but I did finish the book and it's a good read and I loved it. Wow, the next book, As Good as Dead. Too good, out of the world. 3 reasons. If you have watched my previous video on like the AGGTM series, if you have watched my video on that series, you know how much I love this because my heart was racing during the stalking scenes. I was praying nothing should happen to Pip. I was on constant concern. I was too scared. I went to my friend and I held her hand while reading the book because I was too scared. I loved so much of the book except for a one tiny detail which comes at the end of the book, but that will be forgiven because it made me feel so many things. It's amazing, you need to read it. But there are people who will say the last book ruined it for them because they didn't imagine Pip to end up like that, or they felt like everything was out of character for her, but I didn't feel like that. I loved it. Too good. Amazing. You can check the detailed review on the whole series. Like, I'll link the video in the description as well. The next book is Fourthwing, a book that was very famous on Book Talk that I wanted to buy it, but again it was a little pricey, so I opted for an audio book. I'm gonna add it in the mid. How do I add it in the mid? Is there any option? Okay, for now I'm just adding it in. There is something missing. Oh, I haven't even added missing. Oh shit. I'm just adding it in. There is something missing. I appreciate the work I do. I appreciate the detailing I do. There was a lot of cliche shit. I hated the short girl, tall guy trope. I totally hated it. And what else? There were instances which was a little too much for me. I mean, it's a romantasy with adult scenes meaning spicy scenes or smut, which I don't mind, but it was a little too much for me because I haven't read a lot of books like that. I'm not a lot exposed when it comes to fantasy with smut or fairy or whatever. I don't know the genres which add up with smut. I haven't read such books. And I did like the dragons and all the detailing fantasy problem where a problem is addressed and then turns out the problem was created by the one who's addressing the problem in the first place. All that shit I love that shit, and that was there. So it's like it was between good read and loved it, and there is something missing. but I'm not able to place it like that, so it's for now and there is something missing. There are people who hate the book passionately. I don't know why though. I mean, I do get where they are coming from, but I don't know. It's not that bad. Next book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Too good, out of the world. If possible, I would create another, tire above it. I don't know if it's possible, but I'll create another tire and add like a book to remember forever. It has cracked the layer of being my favorite. But it was so well written. I now get why everybody was saying very good book, everybody should be reading. I've been hearing this for like a lot of years now, and I didn't buy the book and I listened to the audiobook. I actually cried, and I want to read a physical copy again. I want to have the book in my hand, tears flowing down my eyes, and read it again. I will read it again, and it was just too good. If you haven't read it yet, just go and read it. The next book is Desanthiri. Okay, I'm gonna add it in Could Read and Loved It. It's a collection of travelogue in Tamil. Yeah, this book is like a collection of essays that were initially published in a magazine. I loved the book especially because of all the little haiku type of poems quoted in the beginning of every single chapter, and also for reigniting my love for Tamil poems and books. So I loved it, and I especially liked the book. The book was like a breath of fresh air because I could just read 2 chapters and my day would instantly feel a lot better. I learned about a lot of places I haven't yet visited in India. It's just an amazing book. If you know how to read Tamil, you should read it because you'll feel like it's a relaxing read where you get to know more about different people, different places, and also get to read cool Tamil poems or Tamil translated poems, and that's why you should read the book. Next book is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Wrong. Yes. Good read and loved it. I really wanted to read this book as soon as it came out. It came out on my birthday like 3 years ago, I guess. 2 years. I'm not sure. But it was released on my birthday. This book came out a little while back. I wanted to read this book from then. I was a very big fan of Hunger Games. I just love the book so much, especially I love Katniss. I love Peeta. I just love the way everything unfolds. I admired how the book was written. I will admit, when I read the book initially, I wasn't in for it wholeheartedly, but as soon as I watched the movies, I was like, this is so much, there is so much going on, and I hope to reread Hunger Games once again. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but it will happen one day. So finally, when I checked out the trailer, I was like, the movie is coming in like in November, so I have to start with the book and finish it off before that. I couldn't buy the book, so I just listened to the audiobook, which was very good. I loved it. I loved how the book was just, there was nothing there because of famous tropes or how books are generally written. There's nothing that is common with other popular books. Given that Hunger Games is already popular, she could have gone for a popular story structure here as well. But no, this is just a villain origin story without actually showing the origin, but the backstory. We don't even have a proper end for one of the main leads, and it's like she's just unbothered and she wanted to produce a good book, and she did. This was a very well written, good read, and I enjoyed the movie so much. I finished the book off like few days ago. The movie released, and I went all alone to watch the movie, and I loved it. I loved the movie, I loved the book, and it's like good read and loved it. Okay, now moving on to the next book, My Sister the Serial Killer. again, this book was like very famous. I've got this on suggestion like a lot, and there was something missing. I don't know if it's because of the way it was written in terms of short chapters. I don't know if that is the reason, but there is something actually missing. I did like the way the story proceeded. I did not guess the actual backstory. Like, it's a different kind of book, it's not your usual book, but it was not the best I've read. So I don't know, maybe I mean, once I get exposed to all kind of reading, I'll enjoy these different types of book more. But it's still good. If you want to check it out, do check it out. The next book is What We Pass On to Our Daughters. Okay. Good read and loved it. This book had the potential to me like too good out of the world, but it doesn't end up there because I have some issues with one of the main characters ending. There was some questions, and also it's not like it didn't become my personal favorite because of some other things in the book, but I did like the way the book was written. It was a very good written book which shows the insider's view of Indian families and especially Indian women. There were instances there could have been more explanation, there could have been more detailing about how this person A acted the way they did, but there was like I did it and I realized why I did it. That was the only explanation there. So those were the parts I was like, okay, maybe this could have been more detailed, but still, it's a very good read. If you have your choice of buying the book, to buy it because it's not something you should miss. The next two books are the books I finished just before recording this video, which is Percy Jackson and the Chalice of Gods, Too Good Out of the World, A Reaper at the Gates. Is it going to be too good or good read and loved it? It's going to be good read and loved it. So I'll start with the controversial one first. Why is A Reaper at the Gates not a too good but a good read? Because I don't like what happened to the characters. I don't like them losing, and they lost a lot. It's not fair, it's unfair. Like, how could the Nightbringer keep winning? How could he always succeed? That's unfair. So that is the only reason it's there on good read and loved it and not too good out of the world. But absolutely you must read it. It's not a letdown in the series in any way at all. This is out of personal spite. It is a very out of the world book, just as much the first two books. It's a very good read, but it's not that because I have a spite. It should have been better for my darlings, especially Elias, Laya, and Helen. They deserved better, and they did not get what they deserved. So that's why it's on good read and loved it. Also, there is one thing. Why is Helen, the blood strike, not able to see what the fuck the commandant is up to? Of course she's gonna want the worst, and still the bloodstrike refuses not to see her as this extreme power hungry woman and limits her. Commandant is like a superior villain, so don't underestimate her, my dear beloved bloodstrike. Don't do that, please don't do that. That was something that really bothered me. I get that story proceeds that way, but it bothered me a lot. But I have a change of heart, and I'm gonna put A Reaper at the Gates as too good and out of the world. Not because I'm done with the ranting, but because of this one good twist that was well kept in the first two books. The first two books also had so much build up to this point in the story, and when I read the twist, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how did I not see this coming? I didn't see the spoiler that came in the second book, so I am dumb, of course. But not seeing this spoiler doesn't make me dumb. It just makes the book as a very well, brilliantly written book. So it's going back on too good out of the world category. Now let's come back to my one true love when it comes to book. Percy Jackson series. Percy Jackson will always be favorite fictional character in this whole world. No matter how many movies or how many series or how many books come my way, I will not change this at all. He's a god of sarcasm, and I would love to be his disciple. So, yeah, revisiting Percy Jackson in his element, Percy being sarcastic, loyal, amazing, good hearted, and just, strong and powerful, and we all love him for that. And again, reading about all that, and the beautiful friendship between the original trio of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover, especially now that the Percy Jackson series is airing on Disney. It all just sounds too good to be true. And also, this is a simple book, this is a simple quest compared to all the other books, but it's just nice. It's a nice read, and I have noted so many one liners in this book. I laughed a lot while reading the book. I felt happy and full hearted while reading the book, and I'm like, this is why I love the books, the original 5 books, so much. And making me feel that way is like the major reason why it's in the too good or out of the world. And with that, we are done. We are done with the tier ranking video, and it's a long video. I will edit out most of the parts. Hopefully, I'll publish this video before New Year. Hopefully, of course, hopefully. And I hope to make one such video for next year's read as well. Also, I hope to make more tier ranking videos, because this way I get to rank things, and also I discuss about it with you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful year ahead and read a lot of books, write a lot of stories and books. I just hope everything works out for you next year. And with that, I'm just gonna end the video. Happy New Year and bye. Live through stories.